Hey, hello everyone. So welcome back to our Sculpketch series. So this time it's going to be a speed sculpt of an orc burst, which is based on one of my favorite concept artists named AdrianSmith. So I've compiled my 10 hours of real-time footage recording into a 30-minute video, which will show you how I sculpted this beast using just a spear and on a single subtool. Also, if you're interested to know the time-lapse settings of the video which is playing right now, you can watch the video till the end and I'll be sharing the settings for the same. So with that, happy ZBrushing. Hey, so before we start the video, let me explain quickly why I keep sculpt sketching, regularly. What does it mean to me and how it helps me to keep motivated. I believe that the best of our sculpting, or for that matter, any form of art, comes out when we have limited resources. With limited tools, we are then more focused on basics, including anatomy study, in our case forms and shapes as well, and with few references we can become more imaginative and creative as well. So what are the benefits of sculpt sketching, for me at least? With limited time and these resources, our focus is on learning and improving rather than getting stuck for a very long time in technical aspects. Sculpketch helps me basically to be more artistic in my approach, keeping me away from my daily professional work stress as well. So that's why I only work on sculpt sketching during my free time. So once we have our 3D thumbnail sketch ready, the technical skills will only complement this by spending more time in enhancing this sculpt to make it production ready model. So these are just my personal opinions, which has helped me in my career. So just wanted to share it with you all. And in this video, I have also restricted myself to use just one subtool, except for the eyeball geo, which is a separate subtool there. Certain shapes like the horns, chainmails, they are like IMM brushes, but they are still been added to the same subtool. So the whole sculpting has been done in one piece. So with that, all the basic brushes like the clay buildup, diamond standard, some curve brushes, smooth brush, masking, these are the basic brushes I've been using throughout my workflow. So with that, enjoy the sculpting of the OrcWarrior. Okay, so as promised, I'll show you quickly the settings for the time-lapse which I used for the orc sculpt. We'll do a quick example, maybe of a skull or something. So let's take a 3D mesh, make it polymesh 3D sphere. Okay, and then let's take the movie tab and dock it to our right side. And the settings will be to basically take off the title image to 0, fade in time to 0, or overlay image, all these parameters to 0. And in modifiers, you can have the spin frame to 1, spin cycle to 0, edge position, edge size, and edge orientation can be 0 as well. We can keep the edge camera path smooth, and this kind of works for what I did for my time lapse. And then let's delete the previous history, and then I kept it at large and dock. We don't want the window so that it don't capture the whole UI. So let's remove the tab there, and let's quickly maybe sculpt a skull or something, just for the sake. We don't have to worry about any other settings there. So let's just quickly do a very rough sculpt of a skull, just using the move brush for now. That's the nasal bridge there. That's the eye cavity, right? And then let's push in the temporal region, and then flare up the back side of the skull a little bit. Let's mark the frontal part of the skull there. Let's quickly mark the zygomatic arc. So now we are losing out on resolution. So let's quickly dynamesh this, smooth it off a little bit, so we have slightly more resolution there. Okay. So that's the zygomatic arc there. That's the temporal region. Yeah, we are not making a proper skull. It's just a quick thing to basically, show the time-lapse setting. So not spending much time and thought behind this. We just pull the jawbone there. Make the muzzle region a bit cylindrical. Quickly marking those planes. Using the edge polish to just define those planes there. I know I'm going a bit too much just for showing the time-lapse settings, but that's fine. Hopefully you can learn something from this as well as a part of this video. Yeah, I think that's fine. And now I tried to work on just one subtool in this whole video for the orc. Was the reason is if you have multiple subtools, then time-lapse kind of doesn't work because it works on just a single subtool, right? So if you have like 4 or 5 subtools, you have to export, each time all those time lapses separately. But the thing is, they kind of won't. They will be adding to your previous export. So it's basically it won't work basically. So if you want to add something to your current subtool, it's better to have an insert IMM mesh, something like that. It comes with ZBrush as well, so you can maybe take a sphere or maybe a cylinder, add it there. So you can see you are still in that same subtool, and you can make you can dynamesh it. It's fine. Okay. And you can, yeah, basically you can do anything with this, so that's just an example. So that's the only reason I used single subtool for the time-lapse thing, as well as to challenge myself, to sculpt everything in one piece. So that was the whole reason. Now let's just quickly see. You click on this F history after this, so it will start from the beginning. So you can see, like, most of the times the camera keeps tilting and swiveling around in your time lapses, making it very distractive. But this process is nice because it has a static camera and you can just see the progress on your sculpt. And the good thing about this is, after exporting this, you can change the angle and export that angle as well, so you have multiple cameras. So that's done. So you go to movie and you basically click on the high quality and export that movie. So I'll show you that now. So this is the exported video from ZBrush. So right now it's processing. Okay, and then if you want to make a turntable, you don't click on this delete, so it will keep the previous video, and you just click on turntable. Okay, sorry, my bad. I need to change the settings, right? It has to be 180 degrees, spin should be at least 1. Yeah, the positions should change, I guess. Yeah, now it works. So you have a turntable as well as your time lapse. So now let's export this as well. So it's exporting the previous recorded time lapse as well, and it will append our new turntable. Yeah, that's it. So hopefully that helps, and hopefully you can use it in your projects as well. So with that, yeah, happy ZBrushing. See you later, guys.